Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear some. Yeah, it sounds like
you.
I hear a lot of banging too. Okay, there you go. All right, you good. All right. Well, we hear.
I just can't see y'all, but it's whatever.
You can't see us, so we can't see you. I don't know what that's about. That's a first for us. Thank you, Justin, for
no worries.
Yep. Yeah. I think
here I come with the bullshit today.
Always, man. God damn it.
It's all good, man. Let's
it's a brand new computer too. It's a brand new computer.
You probably got sold. You probably got sold that computer the same way you got sold that Steve Harvey suit.
First of all, how dare you? The Steve Harvey suit is classic, and so is his computer.
It's too advanced. It's too advanced for Crowdcast. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started. Here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Sunday morning, bright and early, ready to do some podcasting. We have some of our favorite people in the building, like kind of in the building. We got like one in the building and one's like in the back of the building with the lights off. We got Brandon Collins and Justin Brown from Medium Popcorn. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on? Good morning.
Yeah, man. Good to see y'all. Kinda, good to see you, Brandon. Good to hear you, Justin. If anyone's watching this Crowdcast later.
Right. Hopefully you can turn the lights on.
When we upload this to YouTube, we'll just see Justin's in hiding. He's been... Oh,
yo, look at this. Look at this, everybody. Look at this.
You can see the pillows and everything.
And down. Listen, man, I was troubleshooting over here.
Hey, we love to see it, man. We're glad you stuck with it. First of all, man, how have y'all been over at Medium Popcorn, man?
Justin, you want to give an update? Because you the one sleeping in your basement, it seems. All the pillows and blankets.
Listen, man, we doing good. I ain't sleeping in my basement. Not every night, just sometimes.
We all married, right?
How's the baby? How's the baby, man?
They're good, man. They're good. They're a lot. They're a lot. I need to get these kids, sell them to somebody. Somebody wants some kids. Please take them.
Oh, man. Well, I feel like one, you guys are. I'm a Patreon member of Medium Popcorn.
Yes, thank you for your patronage.
Y'all are always constantly cranking out content, man. Like whether it's just like the solo rants, whether it's like even pulling up like the old joints. I was listening to the menu today, because I'm very particular. Like I like to watch the movie and then listen to the review, knowing the spoilers. Yeah. So sometimes y'all do a review and it's before I have watched it, and I'm like, oh man, I have to wait till I watch it. And then with the menu, I didn't go to the theater and I ended up watching it on HBO like way later. So when y'all put that back up, it was just on time for me. I was like, oh yeah, that is right. What did they think about that shit? It's all fresh to me. So how has the movie watching been as far as like, y'all doing like festivals, or y'all going to these cons and all this type of stuff? Because I see it's about that season.
We gotta start going to more cons. I think that's a goal for next year. Film festivals have been kind of on the back burner right now, just because like for financial reasons, especially like for Toronto and Sundance and things like that. But I did get to see a few things at Tribeca, but that even was kind of like lackluster this year. It's just been a weird time for the industry because of the strikes and everything. So it's not a top priority right now, which is
how have the strikes affected y'all's interviews? Because y'all used to get some dope interviews of like people promoting their movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But I know a large part of the SAG strike has been like they don't want actors doing
exactly.
This.
Yeah. Like the last interview I did was for AFCA was Anton Fuqua for Equalizer 3, which it was dope to talk to him, but at the same time you could tell he wasn't used to being the one doing the interviews. That goes on Denzel. But it was still dope to be that close in proximity to Denzel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's been a dry summer in regards to like content. I think the last actor interview, ironically, was Idris. That
is ironic.
Yeah.
Wow, he's promoting Cyberpunk 2077. have y'all tried to get anybody to scab? Like, have y'all been like, look, just go ahead and do the interview. We need the content right now. Denzel, come do it.
Not actively, but I definitely put out some feelers like, hey, if this person has nothing to do right now.
Yeah.
Come on the podcast and talk about something old.
Yeah, because they don't have to talk about a project they're working on. They could just talk about anything.
Right.
But a lot of actors were told like, don't do any type of media.
Right.
So, that was a bit.
They was like, you don't want to get caught. Somebody asked the wrong question. You fuck around, don't know the rules, and it's a problem. So
it's hard to keep that stuff straight in your head. I'm sure.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like what I'm working on now with
exactly.
But that's dope, man. I think also, Brandon, you've been doing the circuit. I've been listening to you on Three Guys On. Mm-hmm. Of course, Comedy Outliers is back, and I feel like elephant in the room. I have to ask you about it now that you're on the show because we're big supporters of Black history. Mm-hmm. But Drunk Black History is kind of defunct Black history right now. It's not what it is. It's not
just saying.
Yeah. For the full story about what happened and why I'm no longer part of the iteration y'all know and love of Drunk Black History that's on the Comedy Outliers podcast. I think the episode's called.
Everyone listen, pay attention. I think
it's called Across the Negroverse Part 2.
Part 2.
Because we set it up. Long story short, unfortunately, a show was booked without my knowledge, and it used my likeness. A lot of the hard work I put in for promotional materials, I found out of nowhere, and it was kind of like what's the problem? So that became a whole different discussion, and so. I work with people that I love to collaborate with, that I can trust. And unfortunately, I just found out I was in a partnership where that wasn't a key factor. And so that's why I had to step back on my end. So if you see the official Drunk Black History social media, you'll see posts in the past that I posted about how whatever's happened in Boston later this month, that's not affiliated with the work I do, all that stuff. So unfortunately, Drunk Black History is no more, but that allows me to spend more time dedicated to medium popcorn and watching terrible movies with my boy Justin.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
And so, Justin, were you happy? You were fine, yes, let's go. It's time for Jay Brown to come up.
Nah, I mean, cause I actually love the Drunk Black History show, and I've pretty much gone to all of them. And, of course, and I know both parties. So, I want to see my brothers rise together. And when all that went down, I was actually kind of disappointed in certain people that they weren't able to keep their shit together. So, it was tough. It was tough.
It's sad,
it was tough for me.
And I kind of looked at Justin, too, as a barometer, if I'm fucking crazy, you know what I mean? Because, I do know I have only child syndrome sometimes where I'm I don't want to do this anymore. And then I just walk away. But because Justin and I have worked for a long time, not just in this podcast, but we also did a sketch comedy group together for a long time. But that required a lot of coordination, not just rehearsals, but hey, this bar show wants us to do a sketch, which that's a lot harder to coordinate than just doing a stand-up performance. You know what I mean? Corralling actors and knowing you're not getting paid at all, not even drink tickets. But we made it happen. And so I'm not crazy and thinking this isn't a good use of my time anymore if I can't trust somebody. Right.
I think it's good though that it's if it's gonna be some type of falling out over something between Black dudes, I'm glad that it's a comedy show. No one's gonna get shot. I'm not worried about.
Nigga, you never know. Niggas get shot every day.
Come out with a diss.
When's the last time we had a comedy shooting? It's been a while,
I think it was Buckwheat on SNL, right?
Yeah,
it was something with Cat Williams.
Probably, I think Mike Else might have shot a nigga. I don't know. It's just allegedly. But I just feel it's a safe beef. But I'm sad because we've done Drunk Black History. I've done it in person. We obviously watch it, and also just not going into the full details, but just Brandon being the producer side of things for people. I think it's just easy for people to take that shit for granted, man. Motherfuckers really be feeling because I've done stuff with Brandon before where it's he'll get it down to just show up on time, have your shit together, and rock and roll. as easy as possible for you, and I'll take on all the stress of like, I hope this motherfucker show up. Oh God, the crowd is doing this. What's wrong with the drink special? You know, like he'll do all the sweating in the background, and all you got to do is just be you and like do your shit. And so, like when I did Drunk Black History in New York, like I did all the research and stuff, but I got there. There's 3 pages of like, listen, if you don't know your shit, I know the shit. Here's the shit. Like it's all that stuff is work, is what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, it's so stressful.
Yeah, venues is work. Guest booking is work. And I think sometimes when people like have someone do that work, you just start feeling like, oh, it's easy. It's like, no, it's not easy. You just haven't had to coordinate all that shit. And so it doesn't just come together by like, I'll book a show and by the time it gets here, it'll be done. It's like, nah, niggas, that's work. And so it's going to look different if I don't do it. And then the last thing I'll say is, as a person that produces this podcast and our live events and stuff, there's a type of experience that I want people to associate with what we do.
Correct.
So it's not just that we could be doing the Blackout Tips live at a club every fucking week in Charlotte.
Yes, we could.
We could be doing. But I want it to feel like something when we do it. I want people to be like, yeah, this shit is special. Like, okay, they might not be doing another one of these for a few months, so I need to get my tickets. I want to be there. And I need the venue to feel a certain way for our customers.
Yeah, because
you don't want to be oversaturated. You don't want to oversaturate.
It need to feel. It just need to feel a certain vibe. And if you can feel the difference when like it's like, oh no, these niggas didn't really put this one together the same. You know?
And on top of that, when you are the person organizing, the person doing kind of all the invisible behind the scene work, you have a particular vision, and sometimes people don't even actually understand the vision that you have in your mind. And even when we do our live shows, we're even particular about venues. Like we're not going to work with just anybody because we want to be sure it's the best thing for us and the best fan experience, you know, because the venue we picked that venue for a reason. And when we first seen that venue, we stepped into it, and me and Roger just envisioned, was like, oh, this is perfect. And I think what we're trying to do. And also like just with your name being on a marquee,
right? It feels different when you're not in like some level of control, because I don't be wanting to vouch for that shit. Like when we've done like a live show at like a conference or something before. It's like we're gonna have a con, and I'm like, hey, listen, get your tickets, but just letting y'all know, like
this ain't us.
These motherfuckers is just doing a podcast conference, and we happen to be one of the podcasts. This ain't the same as buy your ticket, you'll be sitting in this row. Drink special will be this. This is where the parking is. I don't know any of that shit, but I hope y'all have a good time. So yeah, I feel you, and I think it's, you know, unfortunately you're in a position where you almost have to come out and talk about it publicly because your name is on this shit.
Yeah, people
that was what's happening.
And people are going to be asking you, and that's the thing. Anything with your likeness and your image on it, you're going to get asked questions. So eventually, you're going to have to address this. And I feel like a lot of times the producer and the people that do the behind the scenes things, like a car. Everybody gets in that car and always drive it, but nobody cares until the tire go flat. Then you want to fix a flat until the engine goes. Then you want that bitch to run. What it's like the behind the scenes shit got to happen in order for the car to move.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the good news is we can still get drunk and we can still read Black history books. Like that's, I just get Black history books now and go get a fifth. And you know, it's not the same. It's not the same, but I'm learning and I'm drunk.
Yes.
But so that leaves more time for like Comedy Outliers, Medium Popcorn. What are you doing different with Medium Popcorn now that you have this time and, you know, ability to do more?
Well, we're going back to the stage. We're doing a live show on Friday, October 27th at Under St. Mark's Theater as part of the Frigid NYC's Days of the Dead Festival. We haven't done a live show since like even before the pandemic. So this is incredibly exciting.
Actually, our last live show was 2018.
Yeah, man. That's the year I got married. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was because Paula was pregnant with Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did Candyman too.
Yeah, Candyman too.
And this is how much I love the dude who we won't talk about regarding Joe Black history. He was on that show with us.
Yeah.
And we booked him as a guest because he's a fun guest to have on. Like, it's like I'm constantly thinking about this person. So, anyways, but that was a fun show. We're definitely looking forward to doing Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, which I've never seen. I've just seen different clips of it, and I'm like, why is this part of the same fucking movie? Like,
wait, is that the one where the black dude fights him on the roof?
Yeah, yep.
That's the one. That's the one. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be
fun.
So behind the scenes stuff, like Brandon and I were going back and forth. It's like, hey, what movie are we gonna do and things like that. And I was just like, yo, we should look at Jason Takes Manhattan. And he was just like, I don't know, because it's like the 8th movie in the series.
Yeah, we keep doing sequels for the live shows. Like we haven't even done the first one sometimes, so it's like weird.
But like I said, the Brandon was like, hey, like, you know, it doesn't matter because Jason, every movie is his own thing. Right? Every movie is his own thing. I said, and you got the roof, the nigga boxing Jason on the roof. Yes. Like that's all the comedy you need. Right?
I didn't know that was the same movie. Like I'm just like, it's almost like that No Disrespect movie on Tubi where you see all these different clips online. You're like, is this the same movie? Like, how does this make sense?
Right? Who's putting these scenes together? What's tying them together? But Jason Takes Manhattan. I'm not even a horror movie person, but I've seen Jason Takes Manhattan. I feel like it's almost like a rite of passage as a black person to see that one because the other ones are just like campers getting, you know, horny teenagers getting beat up. But Jason Takes Manhattan, that, you know, Brother on the Roof, that I was in the theater and it was visceral. It was like watching a boxing match. Like for 3 minutes. I was in the black theater for like 3 minutes. The entire crowd believed that brother could beat Jason.
Yeah,
that happens in like every other Friday the 13th movie. I think like there was the Jason. I did say Jason in Space. And I remember there's a black dude that was fighting him, and then the black dude got stabbed by Jason. He's like, "It's gonna take a lot more than that to take a brother out." And then Jason put the machete through his chest. He's like, "That'll do it." And I was like, "Damn, I thought this brother had a chance."
Hilarious.
That's just them trying to capitalize off of Jason in Manhattan.
And then the reboot had a similar moment where I think the black dude got a few licks in, was running out, and I remember the theater being like, "Yes!" And then Jason just grabs a hatchet and throws it, and his brother in the back. So I'm like, "Oh well, never mind." If
Jason wants you, Jason's gonna get you. That's what it comes down to.
I did like Jason X, the one where he goes over to the Nation of Islam. And changes his last name and
was selling bean pies before he stabbed him.
Start killing white people for no reason.
At the end, Exhibit picks him up in a new Penthouse ride. Let's go, Jay.
I got you. Nah, I put machetes in the trunk.
What was the one?
We're gonna go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Yeah, I'm taking over to Roscoe's.
Jason,
but for real though, what was the longevity on those Pimp My Ride cars? Like I feel like they'd never last. Like they would probably never last more than a year because of all the tech inside. The maintenance would be insane.
All the extra bullshit was definitely not going to work that long. The battery is going to drain in a week.
It was always, I have a fish tank in my car. How long do you think that's going to last?
It was always two things that didn't go together, like an expensive radio stereo system and a fish tank. You know, it's like I don't think water should be next to the motherfucking electronics.
Yo, imagine you're trying to take a date onto your pimp car and stuff from the show, and it's a fish tank, but all the fishes are dead. And the girl is like, "All your fish are dead." He's like, "Yeah, I can't get them out of there."
Honestly, dog, I would love
case.
Right? This is a great SNL sketch of someone that still has their Pimp My Ride car. But it's all fucked up now because they couldn't keep up the maintenance. That shit was
so funny. That is so fucking funny. Thinking about like 20 years later, the car.
Yes.
That's a show.
Yeah.
I watch that shit.
Yeah,
and it'd be hilarious. You end up taking it to somebody because you know nobody's going to specialize in this bullshit. So you're gonna have to take it to like the man where we're like, "Hey, fix this for like a 6-pack of Coors Light or some shit." Because you know the Honda place gonna be like,
"Well, the first thing I would do is have the person show up to the Fix My Ride shop, but it's closed now. Like they're like we had a bad business model. we were putting millions of dollars worth of shit in hoopties, and y'all weren't even paying for it. So like no one else wanted this service. It was only for the TV show. So we're out of business. Good luck getting your neon neon cage fixed in the back of your car.
So, and then you take it to a Jamaican. You just take it to a random Jamaican dude.
I got a shout out Lakita who said "After the Pimpin'." That's one of the funny. That's the name of the show.
Yeah. After the Pimpin'. I want to watch that. I want to watch that.
Like, what do you want me to do? This call was from 2001.
Half the show is people just taking their cars to Exhibit's lawn and just leaving them there.
People on the street laughing at your car now, because like it was cool 20 years ago, but like now they be like, this motherfucker got spinning rims. Like
that ain't even cool no more.
Your resale value is just in the garbage because you can't do anything.
Oh my God.
It's like that scene from "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker" when the pimp gets out of jail.
Oh, yep.
You get in your Pimp My Ride, and everybody's like 5 stars. No one does that anymore. After the Pimpin', yeah, I want to see that. Speaking of wanting to see stuff, man, we're almost at the end of the year. I feel like it's Oscar bait time.
Mm-hmm.
What are the movies y'all looking forward to before the end of the year?
Yeah, we're seeing Rustin. We're seeing a screening for Rustin on Thursday, which Coma Domingo is supposed to be phenomenal in that. Shout out to that man. He's one of the nicest people I've met in LA. I've
never heard anything bad about him.
Yeah, he's dope. He and his husband, like, they're like the nicest people in the world. Yeah. Then I think, Color Purple hopefully is still coming out this year. I think it's still slated for December. I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, that's really it. Like,
Color Purple is like a musical or something, right?
Yeah, it's a musical adaptation. Yeah, but the last movie that Justin and I were both like equally hyped for was Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. Dope. So that was kind of it. Like,
bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, it's been slow. Like with everything going on, it's been like slow because me and Roger, we are like adamant as far as like going to the movies. So it was a time where you were getting all these trailers, and after a while, we would go to the movies. It'd be like 3 trailers. I was like, oh, nothing's coming out. Like 2 trailers to the movies. You'd be like, oh, what's happening here?
What about you?
I'm surprised that Brandon didn't bring this up. Like, I'm legitimately surprised that he did not bring up the fact that Good Burger 2 is supposed to be dropping this year.
I don't think they finished it. I don't think they finished.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think it stopped right before the strike.
November 11th. Yeah, it's supposed to start dropping.
Yeah, we would have been seeing trailers. Trust me, I would be posting that shit every day.
October. Yeah, we'd have been seeing trailers.
I'm kind of looking forward to the Killers of the Flower Moon, man. Actually, that shit.
Yeah, actually, I am too.
Like knowing that story, like if you know about the Osage County murders and what white people did to the indigenous people,
and Leo gonna be doing some acting.
Seeing the trailer, like, because at first when I heard about the idea of it, I was like, Scorsese even gonna fucking do this, right? But when I be seeing that trailer, I'm like, oh, these white people evil as fuck in this trailer.
They was fucking people up.
That's the only way the movie can work is if you don't pull your punches on these white folks. You gotta let them be evil. And so I'm kind of excited about that.
I've heard good things about especially Lily Gladstone and, of course, Leo. My thing with that is it's Scorsese's longest film. And I think the trailer gives a different impression of the pacing of the movie. I think it's going to be a lot slower than the trailer makes it seem. And so for me, I'm just kind of like, all right, I got to watch another 3-hour plus. But I'm definitely like infatuated with the history and just, being true to what happened to these people. Right. Yeah. And so as long as it does that,
what do you think about the Marvels and the fact that it's going to be Marvel's shortest runtime film coming up soon? Is that do anything for y'all is good or bad to know that it's the shortest one?
No.
Well, I think first, I think we had to know that it was going to be the shortest run film because it's ran by 3 women and
directed by a Black woman.
Yeah, so they weren't gonna give it any real love.
That's hilarious.
We know, but I mean, I think it'll still. I hope that it's a hit because I think for Nia DaCosta that will put her on a different level, and I think it would hopefully shut down all the fucking haters of Brie Larson and like these female characters and stuff and like the changing guard. I still think that the MCU brand is heavily I don't want to say diluted, but it has not been good quality. Like Secret Invasion, man, I don't know what happened there, but
it started off so good.
It started off very strong, and then by the end of it, you're like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? Why does she have all these powers?
The thing for me with the Marvel stuff is that it's been over 10 years now. And so the stuff we're getting is no longer going to be just like the people whose names you know and recognize. Like they're having to introduce people and concepts, and it's getting to the more marginalized people stories like women, Muslims, gay people. And I'm excited for the Marvels. I still love Marvel shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, and I did think Secret Invasion was a letdown, but I still like the idea of like, oh, a new Marvel movie. It still gets me going. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see that one for sure. You know, they almost could put the movies out with no trailers and I go see them because I don't really give a fuck. But with the run length on this one, it actually made me kind of like excited for it because my biggest complaint of the last few times they've done movies is they're too long.
Like Ant-Man shouldn't have been as long as it was. There are some movies that they could have cut. And it's also one of the things where I like the way, Brandon, you just did your critique because you was like, hey, I didn't like Secret Invasions. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. What you did not say, and which is one of my pet peeves, is it's Marvel fatigue. Now, I get enraged when people say that because I was it's fucking fatigue now that it's not about the white men. It's fucking fatigue now. You know what I'm saying? That we not talking about Captain America and Thor and Hulk. It's fatigue now. You know, so for me, that's kind of my pet peeve. Like, I don't mind people criticizing it because it's not everybody thinks. And also, you have people, put like this, Marvel brought non-comic book readers into a comic book world, okay?
Yep.
For the movies. You know what I'm saying? And comic book readers going, oh, this is how comic book goes. You're going to have these highs. You're going to have these lows. You like, it's up, it's down, it's all around. Shit's connected and all type of shit. And so people that are people watch movies that go, oh, it's another one. It's another one. It's another one. It's another one. Yes, bitch. It goes on forever. This is what happens in this world.
Yeah. I just wanted to say too, like, Eternals was 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Yep.
Ant-Man is well over, is like 2 hours and 5 minutes. Hour 45 minutes sounds to me like an intriguing prospect, and I kind of think that's what is missing from the Marvel universe. Is back when it kind of started, you would have movies that were a little off the beaten path, but they weren't like, it's off the beaten path, but we're gonna throw Kang and Thanos and all this shit. They'd be like, listen, it's Ant-Man's hour 40 minutes. That's all it needs to be. It's a tight story. It's funny, and I hope they get back to that.
Yeah. As long as the story is good and the writing's solid, I think for me, like that's obviously what I learned, like being out of Universal for a year, like really learning the deep like fundamentals of screenwriting. But like, you know, when the reason why I think Guardians 3 was such a success is that one, James Gunn got to close the loop on everything, right? But then it's also just solid writing. And I think when you get to Ant-Man 3 and things, it feels sloppy. It feels like a lot of stuff is shoehorned in. I mean, if you think about Spider-Verse is it's one of the longest animated films ever released in the United States, but it doesn't feel like it because they packed so much in to the real estate on the page that it's beautiful and it feels tight. Like by the time it gets to the end, people are like, damn, this is over already?
Yep.
Yeah, and also with Ant-Man 3, I feel like it lost some of the heart from 1 and 2. Because me and Roger talked about this. You know, because in 1 and 2, what was a big thing? His crew. You know, like, you know, the crew of people that was around him. And they literally was not in this. And I was like, well, that's the heart of Ant-Man.
I thought Ant-Man 3 lost something by them trying to make it like the Kang movie. It just lost a little something because at least for me,
Kang look like a bitch. it did not help me.
That part didn't bother me as much because I thought Kang was like dope as fuck until like the last like 3 minutes when he got to lose. You know that
fight for no reason.
Yeah. And then they show like the 90 million Kangs and shit. And if you've been watching like Loki and all that stuff, it like, you know, you get a little hype because you're like, oh, one nigga took an L, but that don't mean nothing. Like these other motherfuckers getting to come in. But the other point though is with it lost, like, to me, a lot of the stuff that made it cute and quirky was that Ant-Man was not the big hero. He wasn't Galaxy Trotting and all this shit. He was very like, hey, we need to steal something from a company, and I'm gonna get T.I. and Michael Pena, and we're gonna fucking like get the Russian dude, and we're gonna do, and it's like all that cute shit, you know, ants playing drums and shit like that. It just felt like they were just like, nah, let's green screen it and make this a big old almost spacefaring type of adventure. And it didn't hit the same for me as far as the feels of the first two films.
Right. It was bad, but you know, that's kind of was my kind of knock against it.
I think the main thing that Marvel was doing at one point, it was just like, oh, this movie's a heist movie. This movie is like a political drama. This movie is this kind of thing. This movie is that. So they're giving you all these different genres, and you know, and just attaching a character to them. And like you said, well, the moment they stepped away from Ant-Man is a heist movie, and you know, Thor is this, it just slowly started to break down. Yeah, but I will say, did y'all catch the first episode of Loki season 2? Yo, solid.
Yeah, I love
Loki is good. Loki's really good.
Loki's the thing where I love Loki, but it's also so quirky and full of Easter eggs. I have to watch like a YouTube new rock stars thing after one, because I need somebody to go in there and be like, okay, so well, you saw this and they talked about the time travel here. That's kind of like when they talked about it in season 1. You're like, oh yeah, okay, as long as it's consistent, I can like work with it, because Loki be breaking my brain sometimes. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
I do think there were some things in season 1 though, and this is where I kind of like was like, oh, they're doing their own thing. They kind of don't give a fuck, which I appreciated, but also it kind of negated the Infinity Saga. Was when he was at the
TVA.
TBA or whatever. Yep. And TBA, and the guy has the Infinity Stones as like fucking paperweights and shit. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Hey, but they said time worked differently in the TVA, man. And now so far they've been showing it, which is dope, because time in the TVA is almost like time in the in Back to the Future. Whereas all the other Marvel time travel has been like, you know, you just created a different fucking universe, right? So this is the one place where you actually like can go back in time, talk to somebody, and they remember it later. Anyway,
one quick thing about the MCU though, I want to posit to this group. When did they start bringing all this together? I think that's what really gives me hesitation when I think about all the different, like Moon Knight and like Werewolf by Night, like all these different things now, like Shuri. I'm like, how do they bring this all together for King? Because I don't see the way that they did for the Infinity Saga, where they were slowly inching towards this, the reason why everyone's going to come together to fight this big bad. We still haven't gone there yet. And I'm also like, when are Loki and Thor going to see each other again?
Well, it depends on how the verdict to Jonathan Majors' trial goes. I feel like that's probably hanging over everything bigger than what like any movie decision is like. Because if this nigga gets found like straight up guilty, they gonna have to eject, man. I just can't see them pushing through with this, because it feels like and they have all the tools to like recast and all that's built into the universe
already built.
But I feel like there's a holding pattern right now where they're like, let's see what happens with this Kang shit, because this motherfucker's supposed to be the new Thanos.
So I think that actually, well, it seems like that the Jonathan Majors thing may actually be dismissed as some, and it may not even go that far into trial. But like you said, who knows? But it's.
I don't think they want to bet the universe on that yet.
Nope.
So they probably ain't writing the like, and then Shuri meets up with Moon Knight, and we about to take on Kang. They ain't wrote that one yet.
Honestly, I think they already have. Because if you think about it, if they were so worried about it at this point, they wouldn't have gone ahead and done release season 2 the way that they already did.
I think that's already been filmed.
Yeah,
that they
true.
didn't have a choice. Like that shit's been filmed, and they had the writers and the actor strike, so they can't even do the like. Well, shit, we'll just wait.
Reshoot and everything.
We'll reshoot to put new content out. So. I think they would replace him afterwards if shit goes as bad as it's looking. But I just find we'll see what happens. But I think that shit, even if they've written it, there's a reason that we're not getting like, you know, they started filming, or like this director is talking about we think we'll start filming in the first quarter of 2024 because everybody knows like this motherfucker get found guilty. These Marvel nerds don't hear that.
From what I've heard is that they are replacing the previous writers for King Dynasty and Secret Wars. I think that they're pivoting, like kind of to what you're saying, Rod. I think they're trying to just have contingency plans in place.
You need them.
You need it, yeah. But also, it's like some of these actors you're finding out are problematic. Like the dude that played Namor, you know, he got caught up with some stuff. It went away real quick, but we never like learned the outcome of like those accusations. You know what I mean?
Right. I know. Listen, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I know they were so thankful that shit came out in Spanish publications.
Yep.
And not English. Because I saw the shit and I was like, oh, I need a translator to tell me exactly what he's accused of. And so I was reading kind of secondhand, like we translated the article and here's what we think it's saying. And it's like translated from someone's like Instagram post. So it's almost like third-hand information at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they lucky like Rolling Stone hadn't gone down there and start fucking interviewing people because that's when the shit heats up in America when motherfucking Rolling Stone comes out. But yeah. I'm looking forward to that stuff. What do y'all think about James Gunn and the DCEU? He's trying to like fix that. I think it's a little confusing to the casual fan, but we're movie buffs, so I think I kind of know some of the direction he's going, like who's safe and who's not. But what do y'all think about that overall change over there?
First of all I want to say is I enjoyed Blue Beetle.
Me too.
And I very much enjoyed Blue Beetle. I hope they continue with that character, but I feel like there's nobody safe at this point because Blue Beetle was already in already in the works before he came on, and if they just wipe Blue Beetle off the map, that would be a travesty. But
he said he's keeping that actor. Like it may not be the same Blue Beetle we met, but the actor staying in place as Blue Beetle.
Yeah, well, they should keep that entire cast together. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. But on the other side of it, after watching, was it Flash? I'm kind of good. I'm kind of good. I think they need to take some time and just hang off of everything DC. You know, just start pumping out the shows for Max. You know, work on the DC animated universe because whatever's happening over there at this point, I'm kind of not interested.
And
outside of a Batman movie.
The thing about the Flash is this. DC is an example of what not to do. Like Marvel is looking at them going, we're not doing that bullshit. We're not having writers and directors and shit come out telling you that this is the best thing ever. And we're going, nigga, everybody see what they're doing, I'm sorry. And they're getting arrested like every other week, making national news. Like we're hearing all types of stories. Like y'all had a chance to actually disassociate yourself from them, I'm sorry, and y'all opted not to. And that's a problem. And then the movie came out and it sucked. So people are like, y'all put all y'all apples here and presented it to us and act like it was good and it wasn't.
I think the worst part is that Blue Beetle paid for the sins of the Flash and some of the movies that came before it, because the promotion to me is where DC is the most like shady. Like where they do this thing where the movie is mid, but then the promotion will be like, Tom Cruise says,
that was
Tom
insane.
Cruise says, the Flash is why cinema was made.
Yeah, the Stephen King saying it was fantastic. I was like, this is weird. Like you're getting all these white guys.
Y'all didn't even watch this movie. Why are y'all lying to the people?
Well, the thing I'm trying to point out though is when people did see Blue Beetle and they actually did like it, it was like people going, yeah, but is it really good though? Like, because it's like you just burned us like 2 or 3 movies in a row.
Yes,
like
they did.
You know.
Well, let me tell you, I have it on good authority about Aquaman 2. I can't tell you how, but it's garbage. And so they really should have released Aquaman 2 before Blue Beetle, because now you have a little bit of goodwill from some people. And they're gonna see that shit, and it go right back to like being like, "This is all garbage."
I literally wrote down
all these white guys running.
I literally wrote down while we were talking Aquaman 2, because I'm like, all this Blue Beetle shit is fitting to go right down the drain. Because I know James Gunn says he thinks he's keeping Momoa, and I'm like, but when this shit flop, are you still keeping them? Like you really not gonna have to reevaluate? Because if y'all aren't keeping like some of these other people with the flop ass movies, y'all not keeping Gal Gadot with Wonder Woman 2 flopping. Y'all not putting her on the list of people that are safe. Like, I feel like maybe you need to reevaluate the entire Snyderverse. And the reason I would keep Blue Beetle is because it wasn't the Snyderverse. Like,
that's true.
It just didn't have any Snyderverse vibes to it. It didn't really seem to even relate to that shit. So I feel like you could grandfather in the Blue Beetle shit, but I would leave everybody else. No offense to y'all actors, I'd leave everybody the fuck else out.
Yep.
And also, I think for me, maybe the way I look at it, because the Flash was technically a flashpoint. And for people that know that, a lot of times the universe is reset. So I do not know why Aquaman could not have came out prior to the Flash.
Yeah, it made no sense.
And just kind of get it, get it out of the way.
Hold on. That's assuming a level of competence. Like, this is the thing with Marvel, there's a level of competence where we're like, I wonder what the plan is. We don't say they don't have a plan. We just go, I wonder what they're planning over there. How are they going to do that? We know someone's thinking about it. We just don't know what tech. When it comes to like DC, I don't think there's really a cogent plan ever.
That makes sense.
James Gunn is there to be the first person to have a plan. People forget this Flash movie was supposed to come out years ago.
Yes.
Yep.
It switched directors, writers, like only thing that didn't switch was Ezra, which is the main thing that should have been switched.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, there's just no plan over there, and I think I'm not trying to dogpile on the universe.
Right.
I want that to be successful, but I don't think, my point being, I don't think anyone was going like, okay, so Aquaman 2 will come out, then they just go, Aquaman 2 is ready. The oven just ding. Pull it out. Serve it to everybody. Like, that's how that plan is going.
So I think what happened with Aquaman 2 is, so obviously it tested terribly. And I think they went back for reshoots and trying to,
3 rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds of reshoots.
They tried to put Band-Aids on it. And that's why it came out after Blue Beetle. I think it was slated before Blue Beetle, but then they're just like, oh no, this is a dumpster fire. We can fix it. And it kept on getting worse and worse and worse. Yep. And now they're at the point where it's just like, well, we just got to put it out, and we'll just we'll at least make some money on it.
And the other thing too, you got the Amber Heard thing, and it seems like, and I watched the Amber Heard versus Depp documentary on Netflix or whatever, because I'm not gonna lie, I was not that interested in that shit when it happened. I didn't follow it. Not, and that's not like bias for her or him. It just was like extreme white people shit.
Right.
This is like, okay, all right, but it seems like DC was on some like, we think Amber Heard did something fucked up. Like, we don't know the extent of what she did that's fucked up, but at some point they decided she fucked up enough for them to hide the shit out of her in that trailer, and it makes you feel like she ain't even gonna be in the fucking movie at this point, like barely.
I mean, remember, Johnny Depp was the fucking darling of multiple studios.
Yeah,
like Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney. So, the fact that she kind of, in their eyes, probably with these rich white guys, hurt their golden goose.
Right.
There's some bitterness there, I'm sure.
I saw that trailer and she's barely in it.
Right.
I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought I was crazy for a second. I was like going back to IMDb to look at, like, wasn't she in the first one? It's like, okay, yeah, she was a big part of the first one. In this trailer, she's just in there like I think you see her like screaming in a cage at some point. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I guess they fridged her the whole movie and said, fuck pretty that much. Shit.
They put her ass in ice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They was like, you know what? For some reason, your lines got cut this week. So, no, just some reshoots. We're just gonna do some reshoots. No, Amber, you're not in the scene. We're just reshooting it just for another take.
I do find it curious though, like with the DC shit. This is how much I think that Warner Brothers is like still with like Todd Phillips and Matt Reeves, who like I like their work. I want to preface by saying that, but being like, you white guys can keep doing what you're doing because you're making us a lot of money and getting us a lot of claim.
Yep.
James Gunn, you're just gonna have to work with around that. You know what I mean? Like, but James Gunn was able to tell The Rock to be like, "You're out this shit." Like, it's just so weird, the power dynamics that are happening over there. And James Gunn has never ran a studio. He's written and directed some really solid movies, but he's never ran a studio. And based on his social media presence and announcing the slate before you finish the other slate, that's just bad business. I think that's like also been handicapping them. So I'm looking forward to the dumpster fire that is the James Gunn DCEU, because I just don't think there's a cinematic audience for Superman. I think if there was, it would have happened by now.
I mean, so what about the old Superman stuff? Like, would you not count Christopher Reeves as having a audience for movies?
You're talking about the Christopher Reeves one, right?
Yeah. I'm asking. Yeah, would you say those?
I mean, obviously when they came out, but like I don't see people like just regularly watching old school Superman movies.
Right.
Go ahead, Karen.
I think my thing with Batman, Superman, and all this stuff, there is an audience. Like, what people fail to realize, like, people love these characters. The thing is, it's all in how it's presented to you. Because me and Roger watched the new Superman on
My Adventures with Superman
on Cartoon Network. It's excellent. And so I go, it can be done. And the thing is, we've actually, because the thing that kills me is every time they do these white man shit, you got to retell the story for the 100th time. If you don't fucking know the background story by now, fuck it. You just don't know, okay? And so as somebody who's actually been living long enough to actually see these various iterations of a lot of these characters, you can present it in a way to satisfy your old audience and bring in a whole completely new audience. The audience is there. They are terrible at deciding what to present to the audience to make them want to come watch it.
What are you gonna say, Justin?
So, and to your point is like you said, there are some of these characters who are extremely bankable, and people are going to watch them anyways. Like, for instance, like Spider-Man is that character in Marvel. Everybody shows up for Spider-Man no matter what. Little kids love Spider-Man. Actually, from like 2 to 137 love Spider-Man. On the DC side, that character is Batman. It's from 2 to 137.
Even Batman is not box office gold because the Flash showed that. They had Michael Keaton front and center in a lot.
No. But that's a Flash movie. A solo Batman movie is always going to sell. The problem is
also the Batman, which only came out like a year before that, made 771 million.
Exactly.
So
and it was 3 hours.
I think I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, but you put Batman's name in the front, it's gonna make money. I think the other thing I would say with the Superman thing, I think there's definitely an audience. I think it's $1 billion movie. It's just honest to God, you got to do it like, because when Marvel started and they didn't have the rights to all their shit, that shit made money because they invested in it. Like Captain America and Iron Man, people were laughing at that shit at the time. Like, who the fuck want to see a Captain America movie? Like, I remember but our brains are divorced from that reality now.
Right.
If I say who wants to see a Captain America movie, everyone would raise their hands right the fuck now. Like, Chris Evans retired, and we're like, nah, if the nigga come back though, they can de-age him. Something. I might watch the Joe Budden version of Chris Evans. I might watch that old version of him that was at the end of Endgame. That was like, nope, I don't think I will. I would watch that motherfucker fight people because that's how much of a brand they built.
Right.
So I think it's possible. I hear you though, Brandon. I don't know if James Gunn's the guy to get it done, because James Gunn has this thing of like, he likes the weird and goofy. And I feel like to do a Superman movie, you almost have to be as earnest as that Captain America Chris Evans treatment of like apple pie.
That's what I was going to say. Like, what kind of Superman do you do? Because Zack Snyder tried to do this like mix between good boy, but also conflicting. It has a little darkness. We saw Brightburn, which is full dark Superman. That kind of bombed. So it's like, but if you go the full Boy Scout Superman, are specifically like American audiences too cynical now to embrace something like that?
Yes. Here's the thing. I think movies are about make-believe. And I think people want to believe in that version of a good person again. Like that would be the biggest counterculture move you could have right now is an actual good superhero with no weird dark underside. Because none of these movies are that anymore, by the way. Like every movie except for maybe Spider-Verse is some version of like, yeah, but you're kind of a piece of shit, right? And it's like, no, like Superman could be the time for us to return to the theater and be like, but what if the guy with all the power was using it the right way and he wasn't a dick about it? I think people are ready to see that shit in a way that they weren't not too long ago. And the other way is now the part that's been overdone. Brightburn, The Boys. We had way too many, like, what if superheroes were actually assholes? It's like, bro, we living in that world. We don't.
They're called the government. The superheroes are the government.
I mean, they literally just made Homelander Trump in the last season. Like, which terrified the fuck out of me.
When the audience started cheering him and his face at the end, he's like, yeah, this ain't bad. I was like,
when the audience
that crazy ass actor has that smile, you're like, oh, fuck.
No, when the audience started cheering him and he was surprised, he was like, wait a second, niggas okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When he like, you saw his face go like talk himself into it, like, oh, they like the evil me. Well, fuck. I'm like, see, that's just life now. Now I'm just watching a documentary. I wanna believe in some bullshit. I want to go back to when Captain America was mad at S.H.I.E.L.D. for having like nuclear weapons and shit. Well, he was like, what? Why would America do this? I'm upset. I was like, that's what I want to believe in, that type of white man again.
You know what? I to put it into wrestling terms, if you put it into wrestling terms, we've moved away so far from the Hulk Hogans of the world. Each vitamin in your vegetables and shit like that. And everybody went full on Stone Cold Steve Austin. I hate my boss. I want to hit him in the head with a fucking bedpan. And now we've come. No, that was a real storyline. He attacked Vince McMahon in the hospital and he hit him in the head with a bedpan.
Anyhow, I saw that video. I had no context.
Okay,
wrestling's weird.
Yeah, no, back in the day it was dope. But now we've gone back to more of the PG side with wrestling, which is now actually, if you want to see how cinemas are going to go and what's going to sell, look at wrestling, because wrestling has gone back PG. And so if we push back cinema back into PG, it probably is going to work, especially with Superman, because he's set up for that.
We need faces, like you have your heels and you have your baby faces. We need baby faces again, dog. I hope the Marvels can be that. Like, because I don't know if y'all watched Miss Marvel.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's great.
That's great. That girl is a star. And so, like, her getting to be on, like, in a movie and be, like, it could be, like, a refreshing of Marvel. Like, I think we just need some shit like that. I also want to talk to y'all about just, like, news and stuff. Because I got some articles and stuff to talk to y'all about.
Okay.
But I gotta play some music so I know where to put commercials later on. So we gotta do like a 30-second break of just like an instrumental
some music.
We have listeners that make these fire ass instrumentals and they send them to us, and we just like throw them in here randomly, and then we monetize this shit because listen, guys, I can't do this for free. All right,
I cannot.
Heads. Beat. Everybody gotta beat.
VH1 Video Soul. I used to be mechanic.
We're back.
This is
Donna Simpson.
After the pimpin'.
All right.
Come on, back to Donna Simpson.
Let's talk about news, everybody. Doja Cat.
What happened?
She's facing some backlash, Karen.
Okay.
Now I don't know how much. I don't know how much you've been keeping up with Doja Cat for the last few months, but she's did this thing where she didn't want her fans to form like these online social media hives, like the Beehive and the Nicki Minaj Barbs and all this stuff. They were trying to call themselves the Doja Kittens. And she started dissing her own fans a few months ago, like, y'all need to go outside and touch grass, y'all shouldn't be da-da-da. And so people were already like, what is she doing? And then
she's like, touch grass? We live in a concrete jungle, girl.
I don't know what grass is.
she started doing this thing where she's doing very weird promotion for her next album. She did like a post where she even said her old albums were all bullshit. That's not the real her. She was just doing what she needed to do to like get the pop money and stuff. But this next album is gonna be whatever, darker, weirder or something. And like it was kind of a diss to like rap and hip hop in general, with the way she kind of was on some like, this is all bullshit. This isn't the real me, right? And that was like a little bit of a red flag. She's had red flags in the past, but you know, I was like, okay, that's weird flex, but I don't know what your next album's gonna sound like. Maybe it's gonna be rock or something. Then she starts doing promotions on her Instagram that are like covered in blood, very weird angles of her face. Yeah. In between, like, of course, the occasional social media post of her like chilling with Ice Spice or something, but it was like, I'm weird, I'm different. And I thought, I guess she's trolling to get people excited for the next album or something.
Yeah,
you know,
do that.
But the latest thing she did,
she's trying to get the white audience. That's what
you're about to hear what she did.
Not just the white audience, the whites only audience, because she recently did a post of her in a t-shirt with a accused neo-Nazi on it, on the shirt, and people, you know, it's like she's trolling, she's trying to be controversial. But then Sam Hyde is the comedian. He's a comedian known for his neo-Nazi links. He like donated money to like alt-right causes and shit publicly. And so she posted the picture, took it down after a lot of, you know, backlash, but then reposted it with him with the shirt cropped out. And she didn't leave any comment on it. But it's you can see from on my screen, it's the same picture basically. It's just she cropped it differently. That's the one with him on it as a neo-Nazi holding a gun. And then the new one is this one with her tongue out, where she cropped it out. Even if you think she is trolling, I think the fact that she would use something like this to troll that says more about her than anything else. This guy also co-wrote the sketch comedy show $1 Million Extreme Presents World Peace, which premiered in 2016 on Adult Swim. It was canceled after the first season. He faced major criticism for pledging $5,000 for the legal defense of Andrew Anglin, the founder of the neo-Nazi website, The Daily Stormer. So, of course, you know, she ended up taking this shit down. But
okay, because I guess my thing is, I'd have been like, who is this white man? But he's a white man with a gun. That's a problem for me, even if I don't know he's racist. Like, I'd have been like, why you got this white man plastered across your chest with a gun?
Well, if it was the Punisher, I wouldn't have said shit. But it's just, I think the other thing for her is she's had a past of like controversial shit. She had all that stuff, all that homophobic stuff that popped up right after she did that "Bitch I'm a Cow" song or whatever and went viral. Is like, here's a bunch of me saying the F word, and it's like, ooh, what? And then she issued like an apology about that. Then of course you have she's in racial chat rooms showing feet. Nori, shout out to Nori on Twitter, but that was another controversy where she was in like a Discord chat or something where some of the people in there were racist and white supremacist people, and she was in there kicking it with them, and people kind of made excuses for that. The main thing I'm wondering is her path to hip hop is not really the traditional path like it used to be back in like the 2000s and the 90s, where there's a bunch of men who co-sign you and therefore you get to be like in hip hop as a woman.
Right.
She collaborates with Black American women. Like those are the people that have been helping her to embrace herself. And that's even after these other controversies. I'm wondering if this could be like the last straw and you stop seeing people wanting to fuck with her. Because if not, she's gonna be just fine.
And been on big features and all types of stuff. Sometimes she be like charting and #1 and shit.
Like I said, it's mostly her proximity to Black American women, and it's not one of those things where, to me, I think the original post she made about her old music being like fake and she was just doing. to me, I would be offended if I was a fan, because it's like what you're also saying is I'm from South Africa, and I basically was pretending to do black music for a couple albums, but now I want these white folks. I'm going to go to full white supremacy dog whistle on y'all motherfuckers. That like I would be offended by that shit, you know. So
yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with her, like her team, and like, you know, I honestly think that she might be going through some mental health stuff, because if you think about the transition from when she came out with like that and stuff like in those hits and the music videos to now, it's like there's something kind of went a little wacky there. And I don't know if it's because of the pressures of the industry or just her just showing who she really is now. But none of this is good long term for her career. You know,
definitely what I mean? It could be that. It could be that mostly because it's so nonsensical that she would burn her career on fire like this. But also because of how she came in and the controversy she had before she blew up, it makes me wonder if like this is just how she really felt the whole time. And then this is like, you know, like fuck it, I don't need y'all niggas no more. I think I got a big enough white audience, and I've made it into the pop lane. I'm just gonna, this is me, the me that always thought it was kind of funny to pal around with races and thought this shit was cute, and I'm gonna just do this now.
Hip hop, hip hop can have a Clarence Thomas. That's definitely possible. You know what I mean?
We have a few.
You know, I'm sure she got teased a lot by black people, like because being like biracial and being weird as fuck, talk about move songs and stuff. So you know, that creates that animosity that, you know, Candace Owens and Clarence Thomas have towards.
But my thing is like, did you get picked on by us or don't? Because you was in South Africa, you wasn't with us. So who was picking on you? Don't put that shit on us. Own that. Make some shit that make the people in Africa mad. Don't they?
Maybe she went to a trip to Chicago or something and got roasted.
Yeah, she got roasted one time at a comedy show. Now we gotta pay. It's just like Trump.
Or maybe her dad got a car done by Exhibit and it fell apart, and so she just hated black Americans ever since.
Oh, her way of getting back at the
great callback.
The fish tank leaked into the back seat and she got wet. In other rap news, Sexyy Red. You know who she is? Pound Town.
I know who she is. Okay. Yeah.
I've heard the name occasionally, but
Roger got to remind me every time. I think I actually remember this time because we keep talking about it, but he brought it up before, and every time I'm like, who?
So Sexyy Red went on a podcast and talked about Trump.
Do you think more people are going to support Trump now in the hood like or no?
Yeah, they support him in the hood. Because at first, I don't think people was fucking with him. Like, they thought he was racist, saying little shit, and, you know, against women. But once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people their free money, oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
Yeah, that a little bit of free money goes a long way.
We need him back. Because, baby, them checks. Oh, yes, them stimulus checks, Trump, we miss you.
That's like Whoa Vicky. She's always talking about Trump. You see her ever?
I like Trump. No, I ain't never seen Whoa Vicky.
She's funny.
I love Trump, though. He's funny to me. Like, I used to watch his not interviews, like him talking to people. He used to be calling people fat.
Yeah.
He just
wow.
He funny. Like,
okay,
we need people like him.
What is going on with rap artists going on these quirky white people's podcasts? That's Theo Von, right? Like, why,
yes, yeah.
What is happening?
Like, because he's popular, and they're trying to gain the white audience. That's why you go on Theo Von's podcast. Theo, call me. No, but but that's why you go on there. And then she says, "Oh, I like Trump." Then you have all these white folks who are gonna be like, "Oh man, you know what? This Sexyy Red chick, maybe this whole Pound Town thing is just a front so she can just get some lib money because you know that's all it is. It's a money grab."
I have a very deep thought on this that it might be a little long, but I think this is just all because of the attention economy. Like when not that this was good or better, but it was different. When we were coming up, you had gatekeepers and there were certain things you need to go through in order to be presented to the public, right? So like you need to sign a record deal. You needed to get cast in a movie. You needed to something. But now with the advent of the internet and social media, you can kind of like break through without being vetted. You can break through without the help. And more importantly, since the advent of reality TV, you can break through without having talent. The talent is that you get attention. Like, like a lot of people's talent, I'd say Donald Trump's talent was that he can get attention.
Yes.
He's not remarkable in any other way. Like he loses money in his business ventures. He lies about how wealthy he is. He's a blatant racist. But to people who are untalented at anything but getting attention, he is an icon to them. And I think his iconic status is part of what many Americans aspire to, especially those that aren't that talented. People that like Sexyy Red don't like her because they think she's a good rapper. They like her as a personality. Like people that play Pound Town, they play it loud. You know, they don't play Pound Town in their headphones walking down the street that much. They in Charlotte, you know, I know in New York, everyone's walking, but in Charlotte, they play it loud in their cars with their windows down, so that you know, like, I'm listening to Pound Town, this crazy look at me ass song. You're gonna hear. I want you to look at me too.
Right.
People feel like the power of being looked at is the most powerful thing now, even beyond money at this point. And so, of course, somebody like Sexyy Red would aspire to be like Trump, or aspire to like, she would covet his ability to gain attention and use that to get into power. So sure, she would say some dumb shit like this. She leaked her sex tape later that night, and she's now being like, oh, someone else must have leaked it. It's terrible. I don't believe that. I believe she did leak it. And the reason I believe she leaked it is the same reasons. Like, well, look at this attention. I'll take any attention. Here's me getting fucked. Just stop talking about me and Trump. This is even crazy. Just keep fucking talking about me. And this goes all the way to the McCarthy losing the speakership of the House, because there's a handful of fucking Republican politicians who don't want to govern. They want attention. Matt Gaetz is not interested in running America at all. He doesn't give a fuck about NAN policy. MTG, Boebert, they don't make policy positions. They don't try to pass laws or present new things. They don't want to even pass a budget to keep the country open.
Right. They don't give a fuck about policy, books, the theater, obviously.
Yes. Right. They asked why, someone said, why is Matt Gaetz doing this? And then there's a picture of him after the speaker was ousted. And it's just every reporter's with their camera turned toward him and their mics turned towards him. And I said, that's why he did it, because it's the attention that comes from this. It's not about the job he has. It's about the attention he can get. And I think when you look at that to me explains so many of the stories that we cover. Doja Cat is someone who is talented, but it's the attention that's more coveted than the talent. Like, I'd rather be known as the neo-Nazi troll, you know, covered in blood, standing in Times Square. I want to be known as that more than people listen to my album because they just think I'm a dope artist. That's how strong attention is. And I think Sexyy Red is probably, she made me think of all these different connections. And when you talk about rappers going on these white podcasts, same fucking thing, dog. Like, whenever someone justifies like that white girl, Bobby, whatever her name is, interviewing the rappers and pretending that she don't know. Yeah. And I know that her stick is bigger than that. Like, people say she interviews a lot of people, but it's that thing where the ones I see go viral are her talking to black people, but she talks to all kinds of people. Whatever. I don't hate her or anything. It's just why do the rappers go on there? Because apparently Drake's podcast with her got so many fucking views. Offset got to do it, and now this nigga got to do it, and that person's gonna do it, because it's just chasing the attention. Because this isn't like before, where it's like, oh, you know how you know an artist made it? You see that they got interviewed by so and so on MTV. We don't have that anymore.
Yep.
You know, so this white girl gets views. It doesn't matter if it's quirky and odd and stupid and low key disrespectful to black people. Yes. Hey man, at least she got 8 million views with me calling her a seasonless piece of chicken. At least we made something out of that, you know?
Yeah. No,
that white girl always gives the impression, like, remember when you got paired up with somebody in lab, like in school, who like clearly didn't like you, but you had to get through the project? That's how her vibe all the time. It's like, we just gotta fucking do the science lab together and then go our separate ways. It just happens to be a podcast. That's her vibe.
Yeah.
100%.
And like the thing with Drake's new album too, where people are like going off about him. I don't know if y'all saw the Drake thing, but
with Joe Budden.
Yes. I did listen to the album just to be, to because I like to know.
Okay.
Know thy enemy. Yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like to know. Also like, and you can go back and I don't remember which episode the show was, but it was either our show years ago or it was Where's My 40 Acres, where they literally had me on just to interview me when Drake dropped that album where he's like on the cover sitting at a table with like a glass of brown liquor or some shit or wine, whatever that number that album was.
Take care, yeah.
So whatever.
You're better than me for knowing that.
But yeah. Whatever year that was, looks like 2011. Oh my God. So it's been 12 years. Okay. 12 years ago, they had me on that show to interview me because I was just like, this shit is whack. This dude is whack. And I don't fucking understand how people are acting like it's not. And they were like, no, but this song, you gotta give this credit to this song. I was like, no. And I only listened, I think it was an album review. I was like, I only listened to this album because y'all wanted me to listen to it to review it. I'm not a fan of his. I don't think I ever would be. Right. And I think I just was a little too old. I'm just
right.
I wasn't going through what he was going through. I couldn't identify with it at the time. And he apparently hasn't grown up. He's still rapping about the same shit. What's interesting is I now have no passion about disliking him. Like at the time I was like, fuck this nigga. Now I'll be like, that's what he does. Why is everyone mad?
Right. This is the 12th album. Like, come on, like y'all niggas is old. You never like him. You never will. And the thing is, a lot of times, every time Drake comes out, in my opinion, it shows the hypocrisy in the fucking old people. 40 and up, 30 and up crowd. It shows the hypocrisy because everybody talk about his misogyny. Well, bitch, we listen to misogyny rap too that we excuse.
Yeah, I just think his
2 Live Crew.
Right. I think what happened is that there's an attachment to his particular personality, especially with him, quote unquote, running the game. Where I don't know if people want to believe him or if they used to believe him or something, but there's like a visceral, like, we need to tell everybody to notify them that he's a bad guy. I was like, who doesn't think he's a bad guy at this point? Who's left to be convinced? He makes I'm a bad person music. He disses Megan Thee Stallion. Yep. He talked about Esperanza Spalding. He at this point, I think he's a guy, attention economy thing, going back to that. He's a guy that has talent, but understands that he's not maturing. He is not having new experiences to rap about. He's not developing any level of maturity. So what he can do is make us mad. So he's like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk shit about Rihanna. I'll talk shit about Rihanna. Y'all will talk shit about me. At least you're talking about me. At least I'm getting attention, because if you look below the surface, my music hasn't been good for a long fucking time at this point.
Yeah. It's crazy that he would go after the one person that sings hooks on probably his biggest songs. You know what I mean? Like, like that self-sabotage is so bizarre to me, just for a little bit more like stretching your fame. Like I think Drake's always been consistently lame. It's very clear that he doesn't write a lot of his rhymes. He probably has a bunch of ghostwriters and shit. His beats all sound the same. I've never heard a Drake album front to back where I'm like, that was worth the hour and a half I just spent listening to this garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never listened to a Drake album. I've never listened to a Drake album, never once.
They're so long.
And so that's another thing. There's a lot of us our age that don't even listen to his music.
Right.
But we have a lot to say about him because the attention economy. He finds a way into the pop culture outside of music. You're not talking about his song. You're talking about that he shit on Rihanna. You're talking about why he taking shots at Esperanza Spalding. Why is he talking about Megan Thee Stallion? Oh, what's this new thing he said fighting Joe Budden on Twitter? We're not talking about music at this point. Like when Jay-Z put out 444 however many years ago, people were talking about the content of that album. Where like you could, good or bad, you were like, yo, this dude really talking about like what led to his infidelity, therapy, his mom's coming out story. Like, you know, like you're talking to like, damn, this man's getting old and like letting us know what age is doing to him and how he's trying to be a better person and shit. That this Drake shit is like, I'm just perpetually 25 and making music for niggas that are 25 while being 35 and refusing to listen to anybody that tells me like it's time for me to get home. The club, you know, you shouldn't be at the club at 35. He's like, nah, I'm good.
I'm still gonna be the old man at the club.
Right. Essentially, isn't technically this the same thing as rappers in the 90s, early 2000s rapping about, you know, drug life and gangbanging when they're obviously outside of the hood, so they don't live that life. It's just a new cycle of it.
I agree with you, Justin. Especially because one of the people that, you know, everybody wants to see battle Drake is Pusha T. And they're always like, they're like using, like, because Drake won't grow up. I said, Pusha T been selling crack on his album my whole life.
Yeah.
All he does is talk about crack. That's why his brother's like, hey man, I'm out. I found God. Like,
Malice got saved and this man's still rapping about crack, dog. And we don't care. I think but see, that's the thing, right? There's something specific about Drake that people feel is different than like Snoop Dogg rapping about pimping and bitches. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it's because I always was out
He's from
on
Canada
him.
And he light skinned.
Yeah, maybe it could be. You know, he was a child actor.
I think
exactly.
Drake is Drake is a walking contradiction. A lot of humans are, but he's like he tries to gaslight you into thinking that he's not contradicting himself, right? Like, if you think about Snoop, Snoop is consistent. Snoop is like, this is what I rap about, but I also like to have a good time. I like to get high. Everyone around me usually has a good time unless they do some fuck shit, right? Like, obviously he grew up a lot from the 90s, like, and he admits that. He's like, you know, Diana Ross called me out on my rap, my cursing and all this stuff. So it's like, you see that growth, but Drake will be like, I'm not a bad guy. You're the bad guy. It's not my fault. These chicks, you know, think that I'm a you know, sucker, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right. But the thing is, I'd say even for people like Snoop, right? Like a couple years ago, Snoop was talking about how he didn't appreciate women rappers not wearing clothes and shit. Like all these people are kind of like, they make the case just for themselves. That's what hip hop is. That's what a lot of comedy is, to be honest. A lot of stand up is just, let me make my case for me, the most sympathetic version that makes just me look like the good guy, you know? And I think for some reason, Drake has hidden people's psyche in a way that makes them feel a betrayal that I don't think I ever have. It might just be because of the way I consume music. I don't think I know you. I feel like you're an artist that made a product. I don't know your life. You could be doing anything.
Right.
And I've never agreed with the music I listen to for the most part. It's like, I might vibe with it, but I didn't choose to sell drugs. So actually, I don't really fuck with that shit. I've never killed a nigga. So,
and
you know.
and also, baby, I think it's a generational thing. Because with the internet and stuff, I think the stan culture changed a lot of this shit, in my opinion. Once we got into the stan culture, nobody ever wants to hear about the quote unquote person that they stand for. Nobody wants to hear anything negative about them. And anything negative that you say about this person, I've got to twist it, bend it, contort it, anything I can to flip it and rearrange it so that the person that I'm standing for makes sense. Even though I don't know this person, I have no personal relationship, no interacting with this person, and anything this person does personally represents me as a human being, you know, and that's a very dangerous place to be.
So what are you saying now for the hate, though? Because I understand the stands are the people that love you, but these people seem to hate him and continue to, like, you know.
But that's their stand. They're loving the hate.
Yes,
they're loving the hate.
Nobody loves the hate. They just figure out a way to.
No. People love hate. Yes,
love the hate.
People love the hate. As somebody who loves a lot of shit, I've been on the internet too fucking long. anything you come out with, you're going to have a subsection for whatever reason, be it they want to be controversial, be it they just don't like you. They are very loud and proud about the shit they don't like. They will let you motherfucking know all day, every day, across all social media, they don't like your ass.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of agree with you on that, in that I think hating Drake is its own thing now. And it's just like a social media pile on. I try not to be the asshole about it. I just let people get their shit off. But honestly, they're more annoying than Drake now.
Yes.
They're more annoying than him. Cause like, you don't listen to him. You know you don't like him. Him dropping a new album, you're making it trend. It's not him at this point. You can't wait to fucking like see the mess that comes from his album, and then you want to pretend like, I'm so offended, I'll be here for the next one. And you've been telling me the same story about this guy for now 8 to 9 years. So you can't even stop pretending like you're giving me new information. He's a soft misogynist. Nigga, you said that 10 years ago. I'm like, what? Why are you acting like it's new? And I think they're in denial about, they love talking about him.
Yes.
And so their way of talking about him, but being better than the people who are fans of him, which they are better than the people that are fans of him. I mean, he got some terrible fans, but their way of still being a fan and being in the zeitgeist is through talking about him and going, I hate him, he's the worst. And I think it especially is weird because divorced from reality, this whole like he's terrible, nobody fucks with him. He gonna have the #1 album. He has more #1 hits than Michael Jackson at this point.
Right.
It's so crazy.
Right. It's at some point, y'all gotta give it up. The motherfucker won, y'all lost. It's time to move on. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that could stop that dude at this point would be people actually legitimately no bullshit being tired of him. Like right now, I feel like they're fake tired of him. Like, I hate him. Oh, the new album dropped. I already listened to it 3 times, and let me tell you the exact tracks I hate. I hate #1. Let me tell you this verse. Here's a screenshot. Like, it would really take people being like, I just don't fuck with his music, and I don't care. That's the only way I've ever seen it work for somebody to fall off, is people stop listening.
And also, this goes back to your whole point about the attention economy. The people that hate, same thing. An event happens, their attention economy is talking about that person. And so it happens for the people that like you, and it happens for the people that hate you. It all boils down to what you say, attention economy. And as somebody who used to get put like this, I guess I'm sensitive to like a lot of people who kind of hate things, because for me, I love a lot of things, and so people that hate things, they're very vocal with it. It gets on my nerves, and so I'm very alert of those things. You're angry all of the time, and the people that are like that never ask themselves, why am I angry all the time? Why do I? It's something fucked up or happening that you need to address in your real life that you don't want to address, and you bring that anger onto the internet.
Like I said, it's just been something I've been thinking about for a while. But you're right. It's just another version of the attention economy. Drake dropped the #1 album again, and he's been doing for like something like 13 times in the last 9 years, or 9 times in the last 13 years, whichever one it is. He's been doing that, and so you can't not talk about it. But even if you say you hate it, then let me hate it to get my attention. And I think I'm over that part. And also, like, to me, Drake is weirdly one of the most consistent artists. With a Pusha T or a Devin the Dude type, he never gonna rap about nothing different, and he always gonna have 5 or 6 songs every album that I'm like, that's a good song.
That's a bop. Yes, he has shit. I'm like, oh, that's a bop. Hotline Bling is my motherfucking jam.
And I think because I was always older than him, I've never wanted or thought he would grow up. I would honestly be shocked if he's been rewarded so much with that kind of weird incel rap shit he's been doing. I would be shocked if this nigga grew up. That would be the most shocking thing he did, if he did a real album of like, this is how I feel about being a father, this is how I feel about getting older, this is how I feel about, like my being biracial, this is how I feel about, being from Canada, a child. We would be like, who the fuck is this nigga? What?
Also, at the same time, we live in a world where people don't want to grow up. So nobody's here for that shit.
That's true. Yeah, his next album should be called Neverland.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that happened in Netherlands. I don't know.
He's already taken Michael Jackson's cut. So.
Yeah, and he already likes those little girls. All right.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
Yeah, he does.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
I gotta ask, when people say that, where's the proof that is he like a pedophile? Is that what
He was
saying?
like hitting up Millie Bobby Brown and Miley Cyrus when they were like youngins?
Yeah,
but I thought they were texting as like friends. That was sexual.
I'm in my mid-20s and I'm texting a 17-year-old girl. There's no reason for me to be doing that unless I'm legit a mentor. Which there's no.
I know he was a child actor because I know he was a child actor.
Yeah, but he got shot in the back and was in a wheelchair for a few episodes, and then it got canceled or whatever.
Okay.
Hold on.
Millie Bobby Brown is a hit out the gate.
Can we go?
Because I think here's the thing: when people don't like somebody, they pile on social media, and eventually it becomes like this thing is the new truth. And people say it like he's R. Kelly, like he's got caught. Girl. People, and no, that's the joke you made, and you said it.
You're right.
I heard it a lot. So I'm gonna ask for clarity on these airwaves because I'm like, is that real? Because if it's real, then that to me is worse than he makes music for 25-year-olds. I'm like, no, that nigga's a pedophile. Why aren't we only?
I mean, he had that line, and what was it? The Young Money song where he was like, "And when you turn 18, holla at me, Miley Cyrus." And I'm just like, bro, what are you grooming a girl through a song?
Right. Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? Like things like that are kind of alarming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know rappers have said way worse, but I feel you on that.
So this is my thing. I worked in a school, and I worked around as a 20-something-year-old working around young girls. I knew at 22, 23-year-old that any relationship I had outside of this school setting with a girl who is sub 18 is inappropriate. And I immediately took myself out of that and moved away.
We agree. I'm only asking when people say this nigga's a pedophile, is that confirmed?
Yeah,
that's not like I'm not saying is it not creepy or weird
no.
that this nigga is friends with a child actor? That part, of course, that's weird. Of course, I'm just saying like when people were saying that about R. Kelly, it was true.
Yes.
When people say that shit about Michael Jackson, it's true. And some of y'all niggas still don't believe that's true. Right. So I have to ask her.
But here's the thing, though. It was floating around as rumors for many a year before it was ever confirmed. This has been floating around as rumor for many a year. It just hasn't been confirmed yet.
That's why I'm asking.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
But I don't want to treat something as true because it's a rumor. It happened before to someone else. Because there's also a bunch of rumors that don't come true, that never get confirmed, and we don't go back and be like, oh yeah, he didn't really have a gerbil up his ass. We still make that that joke like it's facts.
I made the joke as if the same way I would have made a joke about his supposed fake abs. You know what I mean? It's like we heard the rumors, but what's going on? But
no. I just wanted to clarify because
absolutely.
I'm not knocking the joke. Whenever I hear it, I'm like, so y'all know something I don't know. I just want to know because if he fucking doing this shit, I feel like it should be the number one story. You know what I mean? Like. This nigga gets caught with some 17-year-olds coming out of his crib. I feel like that should be a big deal, So far, the women I know he's been attached to have all been like Instagram models that are old enough, Even his baby mama was like a porn star. Like, I don't know.
Because like there's a thing where, when you start hearing certain weird things online and whatnot, it slowly starts to come out. And you start hearing more and more and more. It's just like, I mean, how much truth is like, for instance, Brandon's favorite person, Cisco, right? Cisco,
that's not my favorite person. What do you?
He's one of your dudes.
What are we hearing about Cisco?
So Cisco apparently fathered a child with a young girl overseas. Okay. Yeah, that's the number. I'm just like, if that's true, and that's part of the reason Cisco kind of, they kind of disappeared.
So are you saying that it is true, or are you saying it's a rumor?
Well, I heard it as a rumor. Right? That Cisco fathered a child of a fan overseas that was underage. Yeah, the thong song guy. So I was kind of just like, so there's that. Like the Bill Cosby thing. I heard about the whole Bill Cosby thing, years before it came out, just from other comics, like an older comic that I has happened to talk to, or just doing something. He was like, "Yeah, you heard about the whole Bill?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then he was like, "Well, that's weird." And then just Paul Moody, just like weird stuff over time, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it's kind of like real." And I'm just like,
"Yeah, I think
how did we delineate all of this information?"
On this podcast, I prefer to keep that shit facts.
True.
Because like a lot of this stuff is very slanderous and dangerous. And I think it only permeates people we already don't like for the most part. Like, it's like, I don't like this nigga. I'll believe he did anything. That nigga murdered them people. And you're like I remember when Travis Scott had that concert where the people died in the stampede, and people were legit on Twitter like, he's going to prison. He's a murderer. He killed them people. And I'm like, this isn't there a venue secure? Isn't there like 12 levels of shit before you get to the guy on stage for any concert, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When they had that fire at that, I forget what the band was, that fire where people died at this rock and roll concert. You're like, are we blaming the rock and roll niggas on stage? You feel like a fire hazard and blocking the doors beyond their.
That's like blaming the artist for like what happened at Woodstock or Fire Festival. It's
exactly.
Oh,
so and also like there's been times where I've done deep dives and found out like motherfuckers was just hating. Like Chris Pratt shit is a lot of people just hating.
Right.
Taylor Swift shit is a lot of
weird.
people just hating. And so I'm very wary of the internet like mob culture, because like once we mob up on somebody, we'll fucking say anything and then be like, and we don't care who it hurts or what, if it's true or not. That being said, like I definitely see those whispers about Drake, and it makes me wonder if it's true. But whenever I look into it, I haven't found anything where people are like, oh, he got caught kissing Millie Bobby Brown or some shit. And you're like, oh, there you go, got him. But instead, it's like because like they have her talking about it too, saying, nah, he's just my friend, and I text him about advice in our industry, and I'm like, okay, so this doesn't seem like Aaliyah and R. Kelly,
right?
Like they don't kick it a lot. Yeah. Like it feels different to me, so I just want to be clear. Anyway, speaking of Drake, he did fight with Joe Budden. Joe Budden did his podcast as he's wont to do. And he dropped some evaluation of Drake's new album, and he said his album is for children. Oh, now the clip doesn't want to play. All right, let me try refreshing. But he said that Drake's album is for, God, it really doesn't want to play. All right, let me go to YouTube. I'll find it. Give me a second. But yeah, Joe Budden said that Drake's still making music for 25-year-olds. And I mean, I don't know that that's a lie. Like I'm not really sure where the offense comes in, but apparently this nigga Drake got offended by this shit. Oh, I can find it on Twitter. All right, that's what I'll do. But Drake got offended by this and wrote a long ass Instagram comment to Joe Budden on Joe Budden's page. That is a very hilarious comment. Oh damn, this ain't the right video. All right, give me a second. But yeah, he absolutely eviscerated this man.
Now I do give Drake credit. Drake is very funny. Like when it comes for joke time.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about Drake with like Rod about like, people have to just not give a fuck about his music. He can always fall back into comedy. That's actually when he hosted SNL. I kind of was annoyed because I'm like, he's actually pretty fucking funny. And he's funny enough to let them make fun of him. Because he had this Angry Drake sketch, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Where like all the SNL like cast members were pissing him off, and then he started rapping about it. So I'm like, okay, look, he has that to fall back on if the music just got.
He'd be winning these. To me, he'd be winning a lot of these beefs because he's funnier than these dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's a clip, by the way.
This is like Yachty rapping. This is like he rapping for the children. And that's yo, dog, I had to look up how old this was when I finished listening to the album. Mm-hmm. You are 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You will be 37 years old. Get the away from some of these younger niggas and stop these 25-year-olds. I'm listening to the album. Yo, you're a 37-year-old billionaire. I get it that you appeal to the world. Loving about Cole, like my shit is happening in reverse. Like with Cole, he used to rap about kid shit. I'm a grown ass, like real Jersey City. I want to hear how you lost your virginity. And then he started to grow up. Mm-hmm. And then the rapping sounded like an adult rapping. I want to hear adult Drake rapping for adult people.
No.
So that's
adult people? Ain't that just adults?
Yeah, right.
and technically, 25-year-olds are adults, so you can't just say that they're not adults.
And Joe Budden is not necessarily the patron saint of maturity, growing up, misogyny, any of that shit. Like, if you've ever heard him, like, or just seen the things that he's literally been accused of by the people that used to date him, they're not. This is not necessarily the most woke nigga in the world. But I think his overall criticism is right, and that's gonna always be a criticism of Drake. But Drake replied, "You have failed at music." This is at Joe Budden.
Oh no!
You left it behind to do what you are doing in this clip, because this is what actually pays your bills. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure give their opinion on his idea of a recipe for success. A quitter give their opinion on how to achieve longevity. You switched careers because the things that pop into your brain had you broke living check to check, and he spelled it the Canadian way, CHEQUE.
Oh shit!
Check to check, and raps you write had 450 men showing up to your shows in dusty NYC jeans to screw up their faces to move Music 29 and pretend you are the GOAT. Please, to any artist that's doing what they feel is right, don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. This guy is the poster child of frustration and surrendering. You retired and we never hung up your jersey. We don't even remember your number. Damn. We know you for doing this. You withdrew from rap not because you accomplished all you need to. It's because you wasn't working. It wasn't working for you. I never want anybody in the generations to think that the whole everybody's entitled to an opinion is a real thing. This is a man projecting his own self-hate, and the fact I did and continue to do everything he wanted to do for himself. If you need it, put in simpler terms, I own a 767. That's a private jet. He owns a modest house in the 973.
Ouch.
And flies first class on special occasions.
Damn.
Hey. What you got against people that can afford first class on special occasion? I'm in that group. Right. I feel offended.
I know, but like that's like some like, secret like text group tea that he got from some other rappers. They're like, oh, Joe, like he can only afford this on special occasions. Like that's
listen. I've never y'all remember Godzilla the when it came out a couple years ago, and in the trailer, my man, I forget his first name, but his last name is Watanabe, and he was like,
Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe. Yeah, let them fight. That's how I feel about this. They both right about each other. I've been seeing people be like, damn, y'all gonna make me defend Joe Budden. Oh, y'all gonna make me defend Drake. You don't gotta defend nobody. They both right, and they both right about how the other one is wrong. Like, the fuck? Anyway.
A broken clock is right 2 times a day. You know what I mean? Like,
all right. These motherfuckers hit both of them times at the same time. I saw that shit. I was smiling so hard. I was like, and the reason I started smiling is because both of them real sensitive and they listen to each other. Yep. So they gonna be going back and forth for a while. So good. The
only way that this could really be capitalized to the highest level would be for them to do a joint album together. Which would be god awful.
The best of both worlds, old and new shit.
Knowing Joe Budden's value system, he would be doing what Drake's doing if he could do it. He just can't.
Yeah.
If he could be the #1 selling rapper, he'd be fucking 25-year-old Instagram models eternally and never growing the fuck up. Like this, none of them are better than the other nigga. Okay?
No.
All right, let's move to the last thing. Well, second to last thing. Let's do some guess the race. All right, we've been we haven't been that problematic on here. It's been so let's gotta get a
haven't been that problematic.
This time for guess the race. It's time for Guess the Race. It's time for Guess the Race. It's time for Guess the Race. Not the worst thing he could do is Joe could come out with a diss album, a diss track, because that should be 45 minutes long, and everybody remember that. Everybody remember that they didn't really fuck with him. Hey, let's get to Guess the Race. The first article is a Pennsylvania firefighter is accused of creating fires that he helped put out.
That's hilarious.
Doing the arson?
He's a job creator, Karen. A U.S. Navy vet turned firefighter has been arrested and charged with starting 4 fires in the very community he serves, with the alleged rogue returning moments later to put them out.
4 fires.
The motherfucker was the motherfucking employee of the week and shit.
Yeah, that's a responsible pyromaniac.
Right.
He's like, I'm gonna start it, but I'm also gonna put it out.
I'm
Which
not
is
gonna
crazy because I've heard about this before. I've heard this shit before. It's like, this ain't new, but it's wild for somebody to do.
It feels like a something that would be a bad trope of Law and Order, or
Yes, very much so.
something like that. Like, it was the firefighter who did it. I know it was an episode of American Dad. Andrew Bishop, 21, who joined Pennsylvania's Arnold Fire Department last week, was suspended on Thursday.
Last week he just started the job.
He was suspended on Thursday after he was taken into custody over a string of 4 suspicious fires that broke out over the weekend.
Was he there going, oh, I'm bored. Y'all, and everybody bored? Nobody got nothing to do?
Right.
He's like, hold on.
I'm going to save somebody.
Right. Because most of being a firefighter is just sitting in that house making chili and sliding up and down the pole.
Oh, right. And that's it. You know, he come back all sweaty as shit.
He was bored as shit. He was like, man, y'all ain't do no fires this week? They're like, ain't no fires to do, Andrew.
Ain't no fires.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. Ugh. Where you going with the gasoline and lighters? Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Y'all just make sure y'all stand by the phones, okay? So 3 of the fires were set ablaze at abandoned buildings, with a 4th fire started at an occupied home while the residents were away. Yeah. The fires all occurred less than half a mile away from each other.
Right, just long enough for his 10-minute break. It can't be even so far now.
A firefighter was also injured putting out one of the fires.
Oh, no!
When the rear deck of a home collapsed, they said, we recognize the level of public trust the community places with the fire department. We take the trust seriously. We will not tolerate these actions. We will continue to work with local and state law enforcement to ensure justice is served. He was arrested after police reviewed surveillance footage that captured him near the scene of each fire.
He got caught on Ring cameras.
In 4K. The accused arsonist was then seen returning to 2 of the locations, along with Arnold Engine Company number 2, to help extinguish the flames, police said. They noticed he didn't have a criminal record when they conducted a background check on him prior to joining the company last week. He used to be in the Navy for 4 years, and they said New Kensington Fire Chief Ed Saliba Jr., whose company responded to one of those fires allegedly started by Bishop, said he was disappointed to learn that a new recruit was believed to be behind the blazes. Guess the race of Mr. Andrew Bischoff.
Oh, him white.
Yeah, I'm going burnt ends white.
Okay, everybody saying white in this one. Okay, let's check the chat room. Let's see. White and crazy. White, black folks ain't creating work at an easy job.
Yep.
That's good. We be like, if we worked at the fire department and you get off at 5, we be leaving at 4:45. Like we definitely be packing our stuff.
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Dark white. Right. Y'all call me on my way home if something happens. Text me. Fire Marshal Bill, white.
I'll turn around.
Fire Marshal Bill is funny. Let me show you something. Caucasian behavior. Francine, friend of the Flame Smith, white. Okay, Blue Man Group. I'll see you if you watch American Dad. Burnt white and white hot flame bug. So it looks like everyone is saying the same thing. Everyone is saying white on this one. And everyone got it correct. He's white.
Surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Is it showing his face? Can y'all see this?
Yeah, scroll that.
Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And wait till I show y'all this picture of him in his firefighter gear. He looked like he did it. Don't he look suspicious?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like, oh shit, cameras in here. Oh
He
man,
did that shit.
He looked
He looked like
It's
he
like-
just wiped the sweat off his face when he did that chin strap.
yes.
yo, he looked like Smokey the Bear staring at him from the forest. That nigga knows.
I gotta kill that bear.
Yeah. I'm burning your house next. Oh man.
Smokey go, only you can prevent. Oh, I'm going down. Why am I burning?
What's wild is that he not only got arrested, but he also ruined his career. He can't go back to firefighting.
Right.
Well, no, he just started. He just started anyway. So it's
Started
okay.
last week. He did.
Yeah.
I don't even think he had dropped 4 days.
He was trying to make employee of the month. Like, yo, ever since you been here, man, you been putting out 4 files a week. You ain't, boy, you a beast. Naked woman shocks passengers by wearing nothing from the waist down in the airport.
Oh,
A woman has horrified her fellow passengers when queuing for a plane as she appeared naked from the waist down during the wait. Spirit Airlines flight goers
oh no.
He black.
were left stunned by the woman who appeared in the queue with them. A now viral clip has shown the seemingly oblivious passenger bare all below her waist with an extra small dress. Here's my thing. Spirit Airlines customers, can you really be shocked at anything at this point? Like,
No.
yeah, I feel like that comes along with the ticket. Like, listen, you're gonna see some shit. So
I mean, we are spirit.
the orange dress in question proved rather revealing as footage shows the unnamed woman standing in the queue with her backside on full display. She was spotted carrying her luggage with pictures and video posted to Reddit. The post to Reddit was captioned, "Will you pack extra light?" An irate
Extra light.
An irate camera woman could be heard fuming at the particularly revealing choice of outfit. All right, let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, she said only in the fucking airport. Spirit Airlines, this bullshit half-naked motherfucker. What is this going on in 2023? Lord, give me strength. I said no draws, no fucking draws, y'all. What is this? No draws. I wonder if Spirit gonna let this happen today. It was posted to the subreddit Public Freakout, which is a place dedicated to people freaking out, melting down, losing their cool, or being weird in public. Hundreds soon filed in to speak about the piece, leaving comments of shock. One wrote, "A person who thinks it's okay to do this in a public plane is mentally unstable." Another rather hopefully added, "Has to be skin-colored leggings. It's a bit darker halfway up the thigh. There's no way people would be relaxed around a woman half naked." In other news, it's on another flight, blah, blah, blah. All right, guess the race of the person with no pants on as waiting in line.
They don't have y'all. You don't have a name.
No name, just only a picture.
I'm gonna go with like Norbit Rasputia Black.
Okay,
I'm going white.
right. Okay, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go dirty feet on the plane, open white.
All right, let's check the chat room. Pussy and booty hole pink.
Oh no!
Headed to Miami Beach for bottomless mimosas. Black. Bottomless. Hilarious. She just misunderstood the flyer. 50 Shades of Extra Light White. The black side of Doja Cat wanting attention. Definitely black, probably with a big bottom. White wine, white. Did she have a bonnet on though? Black. He's an influencer, white. Devil Bitch just put a ghost emoji, which I imagine is white. The correct answer is, it was very divided. The correct answer is actually black.
Oh shit! Okay.
That puts Justin ahead. Justin's ahead. And Karen and Brandon, I gotta boo you.
It's all right. Like Drake, I'm used to the haters.
Now the set. This is the video.
Or Spirit Airlines, half naked. What is this going on in 2023? Lord, give me strength. I say no draws. No.
I say no draws.
What you sound like a black, maybe Jamaican person?
But the
Yeah.
accent.
This is no draws. I wonder if Spirit gonna let this happen today.
Yeah. That was a sister right there. And this the pictures are obviously, you know, blurred out and stuff. But listen, I wouldn't have complained. Okay, this is my type of airline experience. I'm like, oh, we showing ass on the planes now? Is it extra for the ticket or
am I gonna get a show?
It's still in the same price. Okay, as long as I don't got to pay extra. All right, so far Justin is 2 for 2. But Brandon and Karen are 1-1.
Yes.
Now the third round, of course, is worth way more racist points. So we'll see who can come out on top. Okay, it's anyone's game.
Triple the
I'm
points.
here for.
Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the race. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points.
Triple the points, triple the race.
All right.
Triple the race.
Last story. I want to cover this story, but I have to find a way behind the paywall of this website. Wait, do I already pay for this? See what happens. No, I don't. All right. Let me do this one real quick.
No problem.
I can find a site to give it to us for free. Hopefully y'all haven't already heard this one. All right. A Pentagon official is charged with running an illegal dogfighting ring.
Oh my goodness.
Oh shit.
Right. A senior member of the Pentagon's communication staff is among 2 Anne Arundel County men charged with promoting and furthering an illegal dogfighting operation. Frederick Douglass Moorfield Jr., 62, of Arnold.
Not Frederick Douglass.
With 2 S's. With 2 S's. and Mario Damon Flythe, 49, of Glen Burnie, and their associates used encrypted messaging to discuss how to train the dogs for illegal dogfighting, exchange videos about dogfighting, and arrange the coordinated dogfights. The Department of Justice official said in a news release Monday. Moorfield operated under the name Jihad Kennels.
Oh no!
And Flight under the name Razor Shark Kennels to describe their respective dogfighting operations. The complaint announced by U.S. Attorney Eric Barron also alleges that Moorfield and Flight used the encrypted messaging application to discuss betting on the fights, dogs that died as a result of the fights, and how to conceal their operations from the police. They also shared media reports about dogfighters caught by law enforcement, so they knew what would happen to them. Moorfield was identified as Deputy Chief Information Officer for Command, Control, and Communications for the Office of Secretary of Defense. He and Flight were released pending trial. If convicted, each faces a maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison for possessing, training, and transporting animals for an animal fighting operation. Law enforcement officers who executed search warrants September 6th at the homes of Moorfield and Flight recovered 12 dogs. They also found in the search were veterinary steroids, training schedules, carpet with apparent blood stains, a weighted dog vest with a patch that read Jihad Kennels, and a makeshift electrical device typically used to kill dogs that lose fights. So yeah, that's most of the information. Guess the race of Mr. Frederick Douglass Moorfield Jr. Karen?
Based off of all the Frederick Douglasses, I know black.
Okay, all right. What about you, Justin?
I'm gonna have to go the General's Fried Chicken black.
General's Fried Chicken.
Oh, shout out to Undercover Brother. What about you, Brandon?
I'm going to kill Patrick Black. That's abusing your power, bro. What are you doing?
All right, let's see what race they were. I thought those government jobs pay good. Black. What is the Michael Vick shit? Okay, abolitionist black. Frederick Douglass Vick black. Fuck that man black. My God, today Mike Vick still on that fantasy football team. Black ass DMV niggas.
Oh no.
06 Vick, Michael Vick black. Them niggas. This is the Frederick Douglass that Dr. Umar's related to black. That's such a good. That's great info. Michael Vick want to be mofo black. The correct answer is everyone got it. Black.
Yikes. We got a picture of this nigga. We got a picture of this nigga. Please show me a picture.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why he let Mad Richards?
No. Oh, that haircut. Oh.
Here's the worst part, right? When I first saw his picture, I thought that nigga looked like he fight dogs.
Oh no.
I don't know why. I think it was a different picture even. Like, I think it was the picture on this article. Fuck, now it's trying to make me pay. But he had a picture on a different article where I was like, this nigga look like he fight dogs, dog. So yeah, wow. Just amazing work by him, you know. Justin, you won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We only have one last thing to do. Got to talk about sword ratchetness, and then we're going to get you out of here. Sword ratchetness is where we go around the globe, find different articles, and raise awareness about how swords are just out here with no laws, no rules, no regulations, and no training. Today's story, a dog walker was cut to the bone in a samurai sword road rage attack.
Well, damn.
A man was left with chunks of flesh and bone carved out of him after a brutal road rage incident where a motorist armed with a samurai sword attacked him and left him bleeding in a ditch.
Damn.
The victim, who was out walking his dog, was left bleeding in the ditch in critical condition, but managed to survive the attack in a small rural town of Caracas, south of Auckland. However, the seriousness of the injury sustained by the victim, who can't be named for legal reasons, have left the person with ongoing issues, including problems with their speech.
Oh boy.
Got chopped up so bad they can't talk. Court documents obtained by Stuff have Stuff. What kind of magazine is that? Stuff? Anyway, it's a website. It's just random shit of everything. What y'all be talking about on there? Sports? Yeah, everything. Stuff. Yeah. Talk about swords, all kinds of stuff. They have confirmed the incident and how shocking the attack played out. The incident began in January when a dog walker was taking a stroll. Around 3 p.m., Darren Clark was driving his 2022 Tesla Model 3 on the same road. The court documents don't state what speed he was doing, but the dog walker was concerned by how fast he was driving and stood in the middle of the lane telling him to slow down. Now, see, I'm never on the sword person's side, really. But, bro, you're doing too much. Okay? You're doing too much. I don't like it when people speed through my neighborhood either, but stepping in front of their car is asking for a confrontation. You're supposed to do what everybody else do. You do this move. You be like, hey man, you do you do the you don't just stand in front of the car like, hey buddy, hey, slow it down.
That's gall.
That's gall. Yeah. Then they really gonna slow down. Slow down, give you a slow ass whooping. Just a
white.
Right, I don't have his race.
Kara's like, it's a white.
Yes. So as the car passed, the dog walker slapped the roof of the Tesla with his palm.
Oh, you was asking for a fight.
At that point, the situation quickly escalated.
Obviously.
The defendant stopped his car, grabbed a replica samurai sword.
No such thing as replica.
Also known as a sword. It was covered by a wooden sheath. He wielded the sword. He got out of the car, advanced at the complainant. The defendant struck the complainant with a sideways swing that hit the complainant's shoulder and then neck. The sword sheath shattered on the initial impact. The blade was immediately exposed. The sword cut the man's ear, neck, and cleaved a large chunk of flesh and bone from his left shoulder.
God damn!
He was knocked to the ground by the force and fell into a nearby ditch while Clark got back into his Tesla with his wife and kids.
What?
And drove away. That's a
so what you're telling me is that was an equalizer sword. because this nigga had that sword in there and it was sharp and ready to go. Because thing is, as a sword wielding nigga over here, most swords that you get, they're gonna come blunt. So he had to go out and sharpen that sword and keep it in his car because he was ready for the shits. That man is crazy.
Also, I just want people to understand, a blunt replica sword can cut somebody.
Yes.
If you swing, go to one of these conventions and look at the swords that are replica swords.
Them shit still cut.
They're heavy and they can fuck you up. So you see one of these nerds with these swords, think twice before you slap their Tesla in front of their family, because they might feel like they got a thing to prove. If anything, the sheath was the fakest thing on the sword.
Yeah.
The sheath broke right away.
The sheath was like, I give up.
The documents state that the victim was in intense pain and bleeding heavily. They got to their feet, made it to a nearby driveway where they rang the intercom in a bid to get help. No one at the intercom responded. He did try to use his phone to call help, but he couldn't operate it as the blood prevented him from unlocking it. Around 3:08 p.m., the victim's son was driving down the road. He noticed his father laying in the ditch and the dog nearby. But first of all, fuck that dog, right? This is why we fight dogs. Because one, you didn't do shit. Two, you didn't even do no Lassie shit and go get some help. Like, I've seen Lassie, that dog propaganda. You supposed to go tell a motherfucker yo, I fell down a well.
Right. If y'all could tell Timmy in the well, y'all don't be able to say, I'm on the side of the road, apparently.
This is why we fight dogs.
This is why. That's why I'm not 100% not on them general side. I'm just saying. Dogs gotta check her past. Look up any civil rights video. They don't be on the right side of things. He applied emergency first aid to slow the bleeding and called an ambulance. The man was taken to the hospital, critical condition.
They must be a little small town where you land on the side of the road and your child is the one that happened to drive. Is that daddy on the side of the road?
He suffered a deep laceration to his neck, but down to the bone, but without hitting the spinal cord. Woo! His jaw was also broken. His facial muscles and nerves were severed. He also lost some from his left shoulder. I already said that. The tendons in his left hand were severed. He has ongoing facial dropping and speech impediment as a result of the injuries to his face. Wow. And
I bet you now he'd have let him just pass on by.
Now, the driver admitted to doing the crime and described it as stupid road rage. He stated he struck the complainant with the sword inside of his sheath. He only used 50% force.
But then you drove away.
Why did you drove away? But that low-key make him sound like more of a badass. Like, I only hit him with like half the strength. I wasn't even trying to fuck him up that bad. He's just a bitch.
He swing, it was like 50% force. Boom.
Yeah, he said it like anime.
Yeah.
It's like dragon swing, 50% force.
That was only half my power.
Next time I will show you my full power.
Right. Dragon technique, 200% force. Clark pleaded guilty to causing grievous bodily harm. He'll be sentenced in October.
Yeah, sentenced to the fullest extent of law. Know what the person did was fucked up, but you hit me and then left me.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was on his jury, I'm not giving him the full extent. I'm not.
So
once that man slapped that car, I'm like, some of this on you.
So can I tell a story right quick? I'll make it real fast. So way back in the day, young boy, my dad, he had a big van they used to drive around with. He was driving through a parking lot, and some guy walks in front of, between two cars, steps in front of his van. My dad almost hits him. So my dad stops, and then the guy looks at his van and slams his hand on the front of it. Now, father gets out the car. Now he's at the ripe age, about like 65 years old at this point. He goes, "Hey, what'd the car ever do to you?" And the guy, starts, this and that, and they start arguing. The guy pushes my father, and my dad knocks this nigga out in the middle of the fucking store, lays him out in the street. White people come running from all over the place, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And then the guy's like, "Call the police. I'm pressing charges." Just so happens my mother was in that shopping center when this shit happened. She didn't see it, but she sees all this commotion, and she's just like, "Oh God, that's Ralph's van out there. Oh shit." So she walks into this, and they're like, "You're gonna call the police. He assaulted him." And then my mom looks at this guy and she's like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 33 years old. He goes, you know, this guy's 65 years old. You call the cops and they tell me push him. He's like, what is this going to say about you? And then the guy got up and walked away and nothing ever happened.
Wow.
He was like, I'm sorry, black don't crack. I didn't know. I
thought you were young. I'm sorry.
I gotta be honest though. I was really expecting there to be a sword involved in that story.
I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't.
I like this is a positive story.
It only been worse.
The whole thing about it is don't hit niggas' cars.
Oh,
Hit niggas' cars.
That's the PSA.
Y'all would have been disappointed if I was the motherfucking judge in this case. It would have been a lot of people upset with this man getting off. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 30-day suspended sentence. Let's leave our hands off people's cars, please. Sounds like fucked around and found out. Casey Smith. Brandon, tell everybody where to go to support the niggas spoiling movies, Medium Popcorn. Tell them where to go.
Absolutely, folks. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all social media platforms. MediumPopcorn.com for tickets for our live show on Friday, October 27th at Under St. Mark's Theater in New York City. It's in person and also live stream. So if you're not in the New York area, you can watch online. 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're reviewing Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, tickets are available at MediumPopcorn.com. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Anytime, man. Can people still get y'all's merch? Because, you know, I'm rocking the old.
Oh, yeah. Teepublic.com, baby.
Go to Teepublic. Right, baby. Merch. Show up today's live show with the merch, dog. See if they'll sign it for you. All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow or throughout the week. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye, Brandon. Bye, Justin. Peace.
Later, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you.